The Snake Charmer's Curse.
Vivify Studio Stories.
Badshaw swaying to the movement of the flute. His hisses echoed the village alley street. The people around the snake charmer hooted and awed to the movement of Badshaw. Badshaw's scaly black skin shined in the sunlight. The Mongol and the snake Badshaw quarreled to give the viewer the thrill to the magic of the world's greatest quarrel. After 20 minutes of thrill and enthusiasm, the snake charmer packed his punnet and headed back home. Every day the snake charmer would come to the village with his punnet and started entertaining the people with his snake and Mongol tussle. Collecting the coins of the floor, the snake charmer headed back home. One midnight when the snake charmer was fast asleep on his bed, Badshaw leapt out of the punnet and started hissing vigorously. Unaware of this, the snake charmer continued his sound sleep. Badshaw's eyes twitched in the night darkness. Its tongue slithered out of his mouth. The snake charmer that night, too tired of the daily chores, forgot to feed Badshaw. That late night Badshaw couldn't resist its hunger pangs, and started slithering all around the house in search of food. Unable to find some, he slithered into the snake charmer's room, where he was fast asleep, unaware of Badshaw's pangs and patrolling all around the house. Badshaw's hunger pangs were growing and growing with the time passing by. Unable to resist the pangs, Badshaw attacked his own owner and gobbled him up. The snake charmer started yelling for help, but late at night the yelping and the yelling of the snake charmer drained in the night darkness. The sun rose and it was morning. At afternoon the people of the village started gathering at the spot where the snake charmer played his flute. The hour needle struck 4 in the afternoon, astonished at the non-appearance of the snake charmer. The people of the village started getting restless and agitated. One of the village men thought of rushing to the snake charmer's home to call him for the show. The loud wails of the man startled the people of the village. He announced the news that he saw the snake charmer's dead half-body on the floor of his home. Astonished, the people of the village started rushing towards the snake charmer's home. Badshaw the viper snake was missing from the home. The Mongol was tied in the veranda of the house. The shrieks of the Mongol echoed the whole village. The people called the nearby hospital for emergency. The ambulance arrived within a half hour. The doctor who came told the people that the snake charmer was suffocated by his own pet snake, Badshaw, and suggested that whoever sees Badshaw he should be killed immediately, as he was dangerous for the people of the village and he could kill more people if he has killed his own owner. The people of the village were scared of the Badshaw being missing and they decided to look for him and kill him as soon as possible. Scared of the scary happening in the village, the mayor of the village decided to hire a group of people for killing Badshaw, and whoever killed Badshaw would be rewarded with high amount of cash prize. The group started their search immediately that day. It turned late night, but still there was no sign of Badshaw being found. The morning at the village started with the echoes of the mourning of a woman. "My daughter is missing. My daughter is missing." The aged woman ran the streets of the village. "God is punishing us," she yelled. "God is punishing us. We should repent before it's too late." Her yells echoed the village. The group of people who was assigned to look for Badshaw started patrolling the village. A small girl was reported lost from the village. The matters were going out of hands. The situation got so worse that the media had to be called in. The national TV was broadcasting the news of how a snake is spreading terrors all over a small village. Seeing the situation, the mayor asked the people to carry on with the snake hunt at night as well. The village people feared Badshaw's attacks that they did not sleep throughout the night. Snake traps were laid all over the village, and people were asked that if they saw any or experienced any strange happenings they should immediately report to the snake hunter group. Men were scattered all over the village from the search team. It was late night, and the night darkness was being echoing with the Mongols' shrieks. The shrieks of the Mongol were getting louder and louder. The men from the search team rushed towards the place where the Mongol was tied. One of the men from the hunting team shouted, "Hey! We found something." He was pointing towards the muddy earth. The people of the village gathered around the place and saw the trails of a huge snake on the ground. The hunters followed the trails left behind the snake. The trail led the team through the muddy swamp, which led them to a huge dark cave. The cave was damp, dark and wet. The cave echoed with the streaking shrieks of the bats. The hunters tried their best to be quiet and mute, so that they don't aware Badshaw of their arrival. They could see the human flesh and bones lying at the floor of the cave. This showed that Badshaw had recently had his appetite full. After the twisting and turning in the cave, the hunting team came to the end of the cave. The cave was dark and had a foul smell of feces. One of the team member lit the fire torch, and to their great astonishment a huge serpent was encircling them. "Badshaw!" shouted all the men. "It's encircling us!" Badshaw hissed angrily, to scare the men away. Men started throwing arrows and sharp swords towards Badshaw. But Badshaw kept on attacking the men. One of the men shouted, "Look who I found! The little who was lost from the village was lying fainted in the cave. She was still breathing and alive." Men hooted in happiness to see the girl alive. Badshaw hissed and attacked the men in cave. One of the men with a sharp sword attacked the snake from his head and neck. The sword slashed through the snake's thick and scaly black skin. The head of the snake detached off the body of the snake. The head fell right on the muddy floor of the cave. Badshaw breathed his last breath. Badshaw gave a very tough fight at the tail of the cave. The men cheered on their victory, and village people danced in joy on hearing the news of Badshaw's defeat. The village once again went back to its normal atmosphere. The terrors of the snake had ended, with slaying of Badshaw. The little girl rejoiced her reunion with her family. The news spread like a wildfire on the media. Everything was back to normal.